good evening. My name is Alan Matthew and I am a member of the Green Star Consultants. So as a team, we are assigned with conducting a feasibility study as our final project for project design and evaluation technology. So group number is 21 and our team consists of myself, Alan Matthew Nanan, and Adil Krishna Ji. So to give a brief introduction about our company, we were founded in the year 2019 and we are based in Halifax, Nova Scotia. And we provide all kinds of solutions for various industries such as power generation, oil and gas. And our team consists of experienced member, and we are efficient in providing solutions to all your industrial needs. So these are our previous projects, and the first two were based in Canada, and the last one was in Iran, conducting a field study on the Hajari oil field. So this is our current project that we are undertaking, and we are assigned with providing a feasibility study. And in this particular study, we will be talking about why we are replacing coal with natural gas, and we are also assigned to provide the necessary transportation system and design a particular transportation system for transporting the particular fuel. So from this slide onwards, we will be explaining why we are replacing coal with natural gas. And the first one is we will be talking about the disadvantages that is caused in power generation by coal. So the first one is carbon content is very high while burning carbon as a primary fuel, and it emits a lot of carbon dioxide and produces a lot of other byproducts which are toxic. And apart from that, it produces coal. In the production of coal, it releases a lot of methane during mining process, which we all know is a major greenhouse gas. And it also causes deforestation, pollutes water sources, and destroys landscapes. And it poses a major health hazard risk to all living things. So, in a sense, we can say that it has a negative impact on the environment and causes global warming. So in this particular slide, we will be explaining the advantages that we get with replacing coal with natural gas. And the first one is it emits about 50 to 60% less amount of carbon content when compared to coal, and also the toxic byproducts are either less or very negligible. And it also gives time for other renewable resources to catch up. So in the meantime, reducing carbon footprint. So the significant reduction in greenhouse gases can be observed while we are using natural gas as our primary source of fuel. So the four major thermal power plants that we are talking about are Lincoln Generating Station, Trenton Generating Station, Point Upper Generating Station, and Point Akoni Generating Station. So all these four major power plants currently use coal as their primary fuel, and we will be talking about them in the coming slides. So the first one is Lincoln Generating Station, and this particular generating station is located in the Cableton Regional Municipality, and it started production in the year 1979, and it's capable of generating about 60 megawatt of power. Second one is Trenton Generating Station, and it is situated in the Pictou County in Nova Scotia, and this started power generation in the year 1969. It is capable of producing about 310 megawatts of power, and using two boilers, and also it consumes about 0.8 tons of coal annually. And the third one is Point Upper Generating Station. It's located in Richmond County, Nova Scotia, and started power generation in the year 1973, and it's capable of producing 150 megawatts of power, and it also consumes about 400 tons of coal annually. And the last one is Point Akoni Generating Station, and this particular generating station is located in Cableton Regional Municipality, and it generates about 160 megawatts of power and consumes about 400 tons of hydrocarbons annually. In the case of the Lincoln Generating Station, we know that the daily requirement of coal is about 5,000 tons. So when we convert it into pounds, we get that about 10 million pounds of coal is daily required for the operation of Lincoln Generating Station. And also there's we know that about 1 pound of coal is produce about 12,000 BTU, which is a British thermal unit. So when we multiply it with the daily requirement, we get that about 12 into 10 raised to 4 million BTU is required daily for Lincoln generating station. And with further calculations, we are able to calculate the natural gas required for the same, and that is about 19,000 million cubic feet. So the same goes for Trenton generating station, and here the amount of coal required is given per annum. So we have to divide it by 365, so we will get the daily requirement. And with further calculation, we will get that it's about 57 million cubic feet of gas. And the same goes for Point Upper, and the daily requirement of natural gas is about 28 million cubic feet. And in the case of Point Akoni, it's about 30 million cubic feet. Now I would like to call Mr. Adul for giving the further explanation about the proposed project.
Hi, my name is Atul Krishna. I'm the part of the Greenstar Consultant Group, which is currently undertaking the conversion of the 4 major power plants which are powered by coal into natural gas. And as mentioned before by my fellow teammate Al Matthew, we have calculated the amount of natural gas required to power these 4 plants, and I'll be talking the rest of the presentation. The total natural gas required in this particular section, we will be talking about how much total amount of natural gas that is required for this project to be successful or the power plants to be operational. From the calculations that we have done in the previous slide, it is obvious that we need around 234 million cubic feet of natural gas per day, and hence we also need to find a suitable supplier or a distributor who can provide this much amount of natural gas on a daily basis consistently without ceaseless operation, so that the power plants would perform in an optimal way without the need to shut down in any case. In the event of inconsistent supply, we cannot simply shut down these power plants because, as I mentioned before, these power plants are one of the major power generation plants in Nova Scotia. So simply shutting it down would not be an optimum condition. So in the event of an inconsistent supply, we would need a secondary distributor. So we also need to contract a secondary distributor to provide natural gas in order to maintain the ceaseless operation of these 4 power plants. And we also need to contract with a distributor who is capable of transporting this huge amount of natural gas to all the 4 power plants, who is capable of transporting, who has existing infrastructure in order to do this particular job. Now, as mentioned before, there are different methods to transport natural gas. The possible solution for this project would be pipelines, railways, tanker trucks, and marine vessels. And for this particular project, we decided that pipelines would be a better and most safe, reliable, and cost-efficient way to transport natural gas. And natural gas can be transported continuously, ensuring ceaseless operation. Huge transportation volumes can be achieved, and it also consumes less energy compared to all the other modes of transportation. And the chances of spills and leaks are also very minimal. Thus, it would prevent any major degradation of environment, and also it also leaves less impact on the environment as well. Now, talking in detail about the distribution system, the primary distributor for this particular project is the Maritimes and Northeast Pipelines, which runs from Massachusetts in USA to Goldboro in Nova Scotia. This is a joint venture between Enbridge Inc., Emera Inc., and ExxonMobil, which are major key players in the oil and gas industry. So we would be provided with high quality and consistent supply of fuel for all these 4 major power plants. And since we have told that we need a secondary distributor of natural gas in order to operate in ceaseless manner, we have selected Heritage Gas as the secondary distributor, and they are located in Dartmouth in Nova Scotia itself, so it would be easier for them to troubleshoot in any cases of contingencies. However, the selected distributing system, that is the Maritimes and Northeast pipelines, they are only accessible till the Point Upper Generation Station, and they are not connected with the Point Akoni and the Lincoln power stations. So we also need some kind of new mode of transportation, or we need to lay a separate new pipeline in order to transport the natural gas to these mentioned stations. So in this picture we can see the pipeline that is existing and the proposed new pipelines that we have put forward in this particular project. Here the light shade shows the existing pipeline, that is the MMP, and the dark shade shows the proposed new pipeline which connects the Point Upper Generation Station to the Lincoln Generating and the Point Akoni Generating Stations. And for pipeline construction, the transportation of natural gas, as I mentioned before, is done by MNP. But since they are not able to connect all these 4 generation stations, we need to make or construct 106 miles of new pipelines. In this, the 100 miles of pipeline is used to connect the Point Upper and the Point Akoni and Lincoln stations, and this extra 6 miles is used to connect the Trenton generating stations to the Point Upper generating station. And all these pipeline constructions are based strictly on regulations, so that the quality of the job is done perfectly. And the additional requirements done for the pipeline constructions would be, we need to make sure that the generating stations have enough storage to store this particular large amount of natural gas. And in most cases the natural gas would be stored in a liquefied manner, such as LNG. And we also need to construct proper barriers and railing to separate the work environment from the local habitat to prevent any environment degradation. And we also we need to alter the system controls and other machine operations for the optimum operation of the plants. And there is also the switching of turbines with gas turbines and compressors. And the key stakeholders in this particular project are the federal and provincial government, regulatory bodies, parent company in this case would be the Nova Scotia Power, which is a subsidiary of the provincial government, the employees who are the part of this particular project, distributors and third-party contractors, the local population who are in the vicinity of the pipeline or the plant itself, and in the end, the end consumers also. And the risk involved in this particular project are conflicts among different parties involved in the project, such as the government and the local population, and completion of project within the estimated time cannot be achieved all the time, so it is also a huge risk. External factors such as weather, government policies, and financial crisis can also occur in these kind of huge projects. And injuries and fatalities can also at the work site may also hinder the pace of the project. And we also need personnel with technical expertise for sudden transition in the power plant from coal fired to natural gas fired. And in this particular section we will be talking about the estimated cost of this particular project. The boiler conversion can cost anywhere between $120 million to $220 million for individual plants, and the construction of new proposed pipeline would cost up to $770 million, sorry. And the cost of natural gas would be around $739,000 approximately. Cost of transporting the natural gas would be $237,000, and the overall estimated expense on the project would be around $970 million, which is an approximate figure, and it will depend on the current financial conditions. And the estimated duration of this particular project depends on the boiler conversion of the 4 plants, which may take up to 1 year, and the construction and commissioning of the proposed pipelines, which may take around 18 months. And that concludes our presentation. These are the references that are used in this particular presentation, and have a good day.